Hello, everyone. This is Rising Stories Podcast, and I'm your host, Corinne Sandifer. On Rising Stories, we meet women who are changing their world. They are building businesses and following their dreams. They share stories with us about their journey and about their struggles along the way. We also talk about things like their best business advice, their favorite apps, and what things they are buying and loving right now. I hope this show will inspire you to live better, do better, and keep your dreams alive. We are coming off of a wonderful Nashville series where I interviewed the movers and shakers of Music City, USA, and I hope that you enjoyed that. If you haven't, you should go back, subscribe first so you don't miss any episodes, but go back to some of those episodes. They are awesome. I will have more Nashville guests coming up this fall. As most of you know about the passing of Anthony Bourdain, I watched him every chance I got because I loved to watch him fall in love with the food he was eating. And on the show today, I am talking with another chef who is also just as passionate, and she lives in France. And, you know, when I started this podcast, it was one of my goals was to have conversations with chefs from all over the world. And here I am today talking with someone across the pond. I was thrilled when I was connected to Stphanie and she agreed to be on the show. Stphanie and I talked about how she found her passion for cooking and food and how she started her company. But before we begin, I would love it if you would join me on Instagram. That's where I share more about the podcast and about being productive. I share something every Sunday night about how to be productive for your next week. And of course, I do share some of my favorite things. I love to post on Instagram stories, and you can find me at Corinne Sandifer. Here is my conversation with Chef Stéphanie Bottreau. Hello, Stphanie.
Hi, Corinne.
How are you?
Hi, thank you.
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Thank you so much for coming on Rising Stories.
My pleasure.
So you're in France. You're in Bordeaux?
Yeah.
Near Bordeaux?
Yeah, near Bordeaux, yeah. Yeah, I'm a home chef. I'm a private chef. As I told to everyone who asked me where is your restaurant, I replied that my restaurant is the kitchen of my customers.
Yes.
So I prepare private dinners or private lunch.
Oh, I love that. So you go into homes and you cook for them. Do you cook for them on a regular basis, or do you just do big events?
For a regular dinner. I used to. I'm not doing catering, if you want. Okay. I'm really a private chef. It means that I'm dedicated to two person. To 11 persons, if you want.
Yeah, so not catering, but it's simply you're going in, and are you doing elaborate dinners every time you go there? Okay.
Oh yeah. Of course. I can propose to my customers 3 menus if you want. And then they have to choose 1 starter, 1 main course, and 1 dessert. Nice. And see that they are in restaurants, but at their home.
How did you start doing this? How did you fall into this?
Cook Tinem, who is the name of my company, started 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And before I worked in the wine for merchant, the export area.
Okay. So
yeah,
you know a lot about wine then. That's
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah. You know, I love to eat, and that is my dream, to cook something for a group of people in my home. And yeah, I think that home is so much more personal, and I feel like people can really connect. And so I'm sure that it's a good thing that you're doing because you're bringing people together.
Yeah, exactly. And I try to, my aim for this, for my job is to make a discovery for my client to my food, to my sensitive food. And I really want to offer a personal dinner to my customers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really good. Yeah. And so do you, how does your business work? Do you go out and find, how do you find clients that will invite you in?
They find me.
They find you. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I have this chance that they find me by internet because I have a website, and we work my webmaster worked very well to in order to make these websites very clear on the for the client who is looking for private chef. So my clients find me usually by this way.
Okay. And so then they just, you give them choices and then they will choose what they want. And is it something that they, do you ever have people say, just whatever you want to cook? You decide. This is.
Oh, yeah. I have one client. It is a friend of mine now, and she is confident of my work, and for every dinner I organize for her, she told me, do as you want.
Nice.
I want to be surprised. Yeah.
Wow. That's always nice when they give you carte blanche, like just do what you want and you can be creative.
Yeah, I can be creative. I am creative for my menu, so I try. But when you have a client like her who tells you that you can do all you want, she just wants to be surprised. It is just amazing.
Well, because they trust you and you feel like you can really be yourself and let all of your creativity come out, and you knowing the client, you know what she or he likes, and so that's really cool. What job did you have before you started this home chef, personal private chef business? Did you work in restaurants before?
I had the training. And I have a kitchen training, food training, and I take some exam.
Yeah.
And
like at a culinary. Did you go to culinary school? Yeah.
Near Bordeaux always, and it was on 2010. It was 7 years ago now.
Oh wow!
And I went to some restaurants to practice, to have a practice, obviously.
Yeah. And did you always know that you would be doing something with food when you were growing up as a young child?
No.
What did you think that you would be?
Everything but no food. When during my childhood, I would like to become a journalist, a reporter.
Yeah.
I would like to become a model also.
Yes. Well,
and also I loved history, and I love always history, and I would like to work on archaeology. And then I further after the college, I went to the University of Law during 2 years, and after I was on the school for international trading.
Oh wow! So yes, far from being a personal chef.
Very far.
Yeah,
very far. Yeah,
and
because Yeah, excuse me, Corinne. Tell me.
No, I was just going to say it's far from being a personal chef, but it sounds like you have found your passion and your place
Yeah,
for your creativity to unfold.
it was a question of opportunity, because on 29th, I worked for a wine merchant, and after I decided to leave the company, and after thinking of what I want to do, it appears that food, it was the specificity, my passion. It was really my passion. So I decided to work for food.
Yeah, yeah. I can tell that you have that love for it. Do you remember when you were younger? Were you always in the kitchen, or never?
Yeah, with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
My mother and my granny also, my grandmother. Yeah.
Yeah, when I meet with clients and they're saying, I don't know what to become. I don't know what I'm going to do when I grow up. I always say, remember a time when you were young, what were you doing that you lost track of time? What was that one thing that you just could just spend hours doing, or that you just loved and you lost track of time because you were enjoying it so much? And they always come up with something, and I love it. I have one friend of mine that she said she would always pack a suitcase and pretend she was traveling and would walk around the house, right? And so now she's a missionary and travels for a living.
Oh yeah.
And it's just amazing what our childhood dreams really, our childhood activities, how they really show what's inside, what we really love to do.
Yeah. It was really, really inside of me, I think, because it means it was moments full of love when I cooked with my mother and my grandmother. But frankly speaking, I have no idea to work on it. But it appears that when I leave the company where I was, it appears that it will be a strong sensation to me that I had to work with food. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that I want to become a chef, a private chef. Yeah.
And so, do you have a next step? What's next for Stphanie? Is it I think we talked about the fact that you might be writing a book, or you're in the middle of writing.
Yeah. In near of my principal job, I'm writing a cookbook.
Oh, nice.
Yes, we begin this cookbook on last January, at the beginning of the year, and we are going to conclude this on December. So we are working very, very hard, very hard.
Yeah, that sounds. It's hard to write a book. I mean, it takes time. People don't realize how long it takes and especially a cookbook. I feel like it would take longer just to make sure the measurements are correct. Everything is precise, because you don't want to mess up, a recipe, right?
Yeah, the recipes, and because this cookbook will have 12 chapters, know, and at each chapter it is 1 month of the year. That's why we begin on January and finish on December. Yeah. So
are you taking your readers? Are you taking them on a journey, like a month, one per each month? So what they should cook on that month?
Yeah. With the product of each month.
Oh, nice. I like that.
That's
concept.
why. Thank you. So it is very particular. This cookbook will be very particular. I usually say that my cookbook, because I will speak very often of mine, of what I am and what is my vision of cooking. and each chapter will have always the same way. It means that you have some words that I am going to write, because I always I'm also write some text, some novels if you want. After, you will have a vision of the department of Gironde, where is Bordeaux. Mm-hmm. Because I would like to thank Gironde, who welcomed us when we arrived with my parents from Africa. And also you will have a presentation of one of my supplier. It means my farmer, my fish merchants, my spices merchant, also my vinegar, also Maison Fleurier, and I finish each chapter will have 6 recipes.
Wow. That's really cool that you're doing that. That's a very unique concept, and I love that you're bringing in all the people that it takes to produce a good meal. You know, there's just so many from the farmers and the spices, and I think that's amazing. Yeah. Amazing.
We need them to work. If we don't have them, if we don't have a good staff around you, you cannot do anything.
Right.
This is my philosophy. Yeah, my philosophy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I love that you're not going in alone when you do your private chef work, but that you have a butler, and then you're bringing so many into that that presentation, you know, that delivery of good food. I love that. So tell me, Stéphanie, just someone who doesn't know much about wine, like myself, I just pick up what I like, and I stick to it no matter what. But if they're trying to do a nice dinner party of 8 and guide them to choosing of a wine that would complement certain things.
Yeah, of course. I have a service of that for the guidance of wines. If the customer wants to have a good balance between the recipes, the desserts, and the wine, so I can advise him if he wants, and it means that I usually speak with him to know what he likes, what he dislikes, even, and like that I can have an idea of what he wants and what is the kind of wine it will be the more personalized for him, if you want.
Yeah. So tell me more about your business. What was the best business advice that someone gave you?
Yeah, it was the best advice that I received is to be slow, you know, not to be fast on my cut to my business. And I took my exam on the 11th, but no, before the 20th, in 20 the 10th. And my company was created on October the 2013, and because I had my child Daphne, and after I took carefully of her, and during these 2 years, I take the opportunity to thinking about my company very carefully, and I don't wanna go fastly to create it.
Mm-hmm. That's good advice. Yeah,
because I feel inside that that it is not important to go fast. You know.
Yes.
I think that to be coherent with what you are and what you want to be with your company, and that's because and it's because I want to get more slowly.
Yeah, that's really good advice. You know, some people would say, you know, grab the gusto, keep going, do it, but I love that you're, taking it slow. And I think that's a really good piece of advice for any business to just, know what you want and do it, but do it right and do it slowly. So that's really good. Yeah. Are you a reader? Do you like to read?
I'm a reader when I have time. Yeah.
What do you just read cookbooks, or what are you reading these days?
Every kind of books. I can read cookbooks. Today I'm reading the new way of life of Sweden or Denmark. It is the legum. I don't know if you know it. Last year we have the Age. It is the slow way of life, and now we talk about legum. LAJOM.
Okay, legum.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
It's the new way of life. I'm gonna have to get that and look into it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
What three things are you absolutely loving these days?
These days, I love my family. I love food, and I love my customers.
That's great. Yeah. You. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming on the show. I really enjoyed getting to meet you, and I love that you are knowing that you are out there enjoying food, helping others to enjoy food as well. And it's a dream. You're living your dream, right?
Yeah, I'm aware of it.
Yeah,
I'm conscious.
That's awesome.
I have the conscious of that. Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm really lucky.
Yeah. Thank you again for coming on.
Thank you, Corinne. Thank you.
This was a great conversation with Stephanie. I loved that she is passionate about food and her story about cooking with her family members. It was so heartwarming and so familiar to me because that is where I got my start as far as cooking and loving cooking. And I guess you heard my small goal was to have people over and cook for them. So I'm hoping to do that and keep my dream alive in that realm. And I can't wait to also for her book release. So I will link it in my Instagram. So head over there and make sure you're connected with me on Instagram. I'll post about it when it releases. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss an episode. And you can also listen to all of the past episodes from other amazing women. And if you found a book or something that you wanted to purchase, please consider supporting Rising Stories podcast by purchasing the books and products mentioned on this show with the links provided in the show notes. You can also go to CorrineSandiford.com for all the show notes and more details and links to guests at CorrineSandiford.com show notes under podcast. Thanks for listening and keep rising in your story.